Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, a historic White House comeback as Donald Trump is sworn in as America's 47th president. First on his agenda, revoking dozens of Biden-era policies. The Armed Forces of the Philippines tightened security in military bases after an alleged Chinese spy was arrested. Disgraced preacher Apollo Quiboloy rushed to the hospital for pneumonia. And visiting celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay set to open more restaurants here in Manila. A new era has officially begun in America as Donald Trump is sworn in as the country's 47th president. Breaking away from tradition, Trump's inauguration was held inside the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol due to chilly weather. Trump also taking his oath of office without placing his left hand on the Bible, as is usually done. But academics say the apparent oversight has no practical impact. In his inaugural address, the president pledged a golden age for the U.S. He also castigated the outgoing administration, with now former President Joe Biden sitting just behind him.
From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. We will be proud, we will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered, we will not be intimidated, we will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely, we will live proudly, we will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The inauguration completes a triumphant return for a political disruptor who was impeached twice, was convicted in a criminal trial, and faced charges for attempting to overturn his 2020 election loss. President Trump moving swiftly to impose his will on his first day back at the White House. Trump signed a series of executive orders, including revoking dozens of Biden-era policies, topping his first official acts, giving sweeping pardons to around 1,500 people charged in connection to the January 6th Capitol attack. He effectively erased years of efforts by federal investigators to seek accountability for the mob assault triggered by his refusal to accept his 2020 election defeat.
First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. We're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people. Six commutations.
As a climate change denier, Trump also pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement yet again. He also withdrew the U.S. from the World Health Organization. It shouldn't come as a surprise, though, since Trump has been railing against the WHO since 2020, attacking the agency over its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. He took formal steps to withdraw the U.S. from the WHO in July 2020, but former President Joe Biden quickly blocked such efforts when he assumed office. Tech billionaires were present at Trump's inauguration, among them Tesla's Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, Apple's Tim Cook, and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who has had a rocky relationship with the president, but they took prime seats at St. John's Church together with Trump's cabinet nominees and elected officials. During a post-inauguration rally, Musk sparked controversy when he thanked Trump's supporters with a gesture that resembled a Nazi salute.
This is what victory feels like. Yeah! And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
World leaders congratulating Donald Trump for his stunning White House comeback. On X, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailed what he described as a great alliance between Israel and America.
Congratulations, President Trump. Sarah and I send our warmest wishes to you, Melania, and the American people on your second inauguration as President of the United States. I believe that working together again, we will raise the U.S.-Israel alliance to even greater heights. I'm confident that we will complete the defeat of Iran's terror axis and usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for our region. On behalf of the people of Israel, I also want to thank you for your efforts in helping free Israeli hostages.
As for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he says Trump's presidency presents an opportunity for true peace. He vows Ukraine will work with the U.S. to make this happen.
Right now there is a good opportunity for this. The inauguration of the new President of the United States, Donald Trump. He is a strong person. I wish President Trump and all of America success. Ukrainians are ready to work with Americans to achieve peace, true peace. This is an opportunity that must be seized. Glory to Ukraine.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer emphasizes what he called special relationship between the UK and the US.
On behalf of His Majesty's Government and the United Kingdom, I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States. For centuries, the relationship between our two nations has been one of collaboration, cooperation, and enduring partnership. It is a uniquely close bond. Together, we have defended the world from tyranny and worked towards our mutual security and prosperity. With President Trump's long-standing affection and historical ties to the United Kingdom, I know that depth of friendship will continue.
U.S. First Lady Melania Trump makes a stylish return to the White House. Her outfit of choice for her husband's inauguration, a navy blue double-breasted coat and pencil skirt with matching pumps and a hat that caught much of the world's attention. For most of the day, the hat, designed by American designer Eric Javits, obscured the First Lady's eyes. It also made it hard for her husband to get anywhere near her cheek for a kiss.
Well, traditionally, a hat should be worn all day. You don't take it off until you're changing for another occasion or, whatever, until the event is over. I mean, you could see that her hair was organized around what the hat was. So I feel deeply honored and blessed. And I think it's incredible. In my hands, it looks like a very sort of understated, humble hat. And, when she put it on and you saw it with the ensemble and all that, her presence transformed it and made it something very powerful. And you would never, if you just saw it on a hat stand somewhere, you would never expect that would have that much impact. And that really just speaks to her presence and her beauty and her grace.
Just hours after the inauguration, the U.S. Senate hit the ground running, confirming Trump's first cabinet pick. In a unanimous vote, lawmakers backed Republican Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. During his confirmation hearing, Rubio vowed a robust foreign policy focused on American interests. He warned the U.S. must change course to avoid becoming more reliant on China. Rubio also said China should stop messing around with the Philippines and Taiwan. As for the war in Ukraine, he said reaching a deal will involve concessions from both Moscow and Kiev. Rubio suggested Ukraine will have to give up its goal of regaining all the territory Russia has taken in the last decade. The Armed Forces of the Philippines boosting security measures in military bases. That's after an alleged spy or Chinese spy was arrested by the NBI. Hanati has the details.
This car is like no other. With its trunk open, inside a range of high-tech gadgets is carefully placed. Among them, a Synology 6-bay NAS disk station, a router, a mini PC, and a video data logger. These devices, according to the National Bureau of Investigation, are used for surveillance operations. A suspected Chinese sleeper agent and 2 Filipino drivers were arrested by the NBI for alleged espionage activities using this car. They say they had been monitoring military installations using these high-tech equipment. In front of the car, a concealed triple camera designed to blend in, but capable of capturing high-quality footage. This camera is linked to a portable screen which allows real-time monitoring of target locations all the way from another country.
Kung yung may interest dito is capable in terms of robotics, kaya na po nilang i-control unmanned and even autonomous vehicle operation.
On top of the vehicle is a global navigation satellite system, crucial for precision tracking.
Naka-mount dun yung kanilang mga espionage equipment.
The NBI says this system can create 3D maps of target structures, potentially used for military purposes. The arrest happened last Friday at around 7 p.m. in Makati City. The NBI moved in after the Chinese national, identified as Yuan King Deng, who failed to present authorization for possessing sensitive equipment. Investigators say Deng is a graduate of the PLA University of Science and Technology, an institution under China's People's Liberation Army. He specializes in control engineering. The operation was initiated based on intelligence provided by the Armed Forces of the Philippines, who alerted them about Deng's suspicious movements around military bases. He also frequented critical infrastructure, including local government offices and power plants. Along with Deng, 2 Filipino drivers, Ronel Jojo Balundo Besa and Jason Amado Fernandez, were also taken into custody. The media tried to ask for their statement but refused to speak.
Meron hong user yung application na yon remotely na nasa labas ng ating bansa, kinukulate yung mga data na nakukuha nitong subject group natin.
The 3 may face espionage charges under the Commonwealth Act 616 and the Cybercrime Prevention Act. Espionage is a non-bailable offense, which means they will remain in custody pending trial. This is not the first time this happened. Last year, a Chinese national was caught in Makati with alleged spy equipment. As part of a stricter measure, security in military bases has been tightened.
That's why we are very careful, and we have also enhanced yung ating intelligence operations against espionage activities nationwide.
The officials continue to investigate whether Deng's operations may be state-sponsored or linked to organized groups. Hannah T., Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Disgraced preacher Apollo Quiboloy, who is facing human trafficking and child abuse charges, is rushed to the hospital after experiencing difficulty breathing. Let's bring in Francis Falve for details. Francis, where is Quiboloy now?
Yes, my KOGC leader, Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, is staying in a private hospital here in Metro Manila for pneumonia treatment. BJMP spokesperson, Jail Superintendent Zerex Bustonera, confirmed to us in a phone interview early this morning. According to Bustonera, Quiboloy was rushed to a government hospital on Saturday afternoon after complaining difficulty in breathing. He was later diagnosed with pneumonia and was then transferred to a private hospital which has a complete facility for his treatment. Jessup Bustonera adds they are in coordination with the court regarding Quiboloy's hospitalization. This is the third time that detained religious leader has been hospitalized since his detention at the PNP Custodial Center in September and later at the Pasig City Jail. The 74-year-old pastor had previously been granted a medical furlough by the Pasig Regional Trial Court on November 7, 2024 after complaining chest discomfort. The PNP General Hospital then performed an electrocardiogram and Quiboloy was subsequently admitted to the Philippine Heart Center for further examination. On November 23, 2024, Quiboloy was again admitted to the Philippine Heart Center for an extended medical furlough. The religious leader is currently facing a qualified human trafficking charge at the Pasig Regional Trial Court, as well as a child abuse charge filed against him in a Quezon City Court. Mai?
Thank you for that report, Francis Falve. The House Quad Committee resumes its investigation on the bloody drug war. Xandro Ochona is monitoring the inquiry and he joins us now on the line. Xandro, what are we expecting today?
Mai, during his opening statement, Quadcom overall chairperson Representative Robert H. Barber said they will focus on the extrajudicial killings and the war on drugs of the former Duterte administration. Today is the 14th Quadcom hearing and the first for this year. Barbers also said they will hear other testimonies of relatives of EJK. They will discuss the murder of General Wesley Barayuga, a former PCSO board secretary. Barayuga was murdered when Colonel Hector Grijaldo was chief of Mandaluyong Police. Among the questions they seek to answer today are, why was the name of General Barayuga allegedly added to the list of drug personalities days after his murder? Why was there allegedly no report coming from the Mandaluyong PNP about the incident? In previous hearings, Grijaldo was established to be the classmate of former PCSO General Manager Colonel Reina Garma and former NAPOLCOM Commissioner Edilberto Leonardo, both tagged in the implementation of the war on drugs of the previous administration. Also present in today's hearing is former PIDEA Director General Wilkins Villanueva. Both Villanueva and Grijaldo are under the House custody after being cited in contempt. And just now, the House panel decided to lift Villanueva's contempt orders. Mai?
Thanks for the update. Xandro Ochona reporting from the House of Representatives. We're taking a quick break. Up ahead, despite worsening bilateral tensions, the Philippine Exporters Confederation pushes for stronger trade ties between Manila and Beijing. That and more when Newsfeed at Noon returns. You're back in Newsfeed at Noon. President Bongbong Marcos ready to veto the controversial Anti-Adolescent Pregnancy Act due to what he calls abhorrent provisions of the bill. Agatha Gregorio reports.
President Bongbong Marcos will not hesitate to veto the Prevention of Adolescent Pregnancy Act if it reaches him in its present form. That's what the chief executive said after calling some provisions abhorrent.
You will teach four-year-olds how to masturbate. That every child has the right to try different sexualities. This is ridiculous. It is abhorrent. It is a travesty of what sexual and sex education should be to the children.
But Marcos also believes it is important to teach children sex education, including the anatomy of the reproductive system.
The consequences of early pregnancy, the prevalence of HIV, kailangan ituro lahat yan para alam ng mga kabataan. Pero yung mga sinama nila na mga woke na absurdities are abhorrent to me.
Senator Risa Ontiveros, who authored the bill, says there was no mention of masturbation or, quote, try different sexualities in the proposed law. Ontiveros adds comprehensive sexuality education, or CSE, only contains things the president supports, such as teaching anatomy and the consequences of early pregnancy. The group Project Dalisay earlier slammed the bill because, according to this, CSE will be guided by the Education Department and international standards.
Sa UNESCO international guidance, yung pleasuring ng body, it's spoken about in terms of the right of children. Children should feel comfortable about their bodies, and nakalagay doon na pwede silang mag-touch according to their different sense organs. Kasi sinasabi doon, normal ang masturbation. And masturbation is not harmful. Basta kailangan private lang.
Ontiveros clarified they have no intention of using any international standard without sufficient study, and they will not copy everything published by UNESCO. The senator adds she is open to amending the bill for its passage. Agatha Gregorio, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
A Senate committee will conduct an inquiry on the Education Department's implementation of comprehensive sexuality education. Let's get the details from Agatha Gregorio reporting to us live from the Senate. Agatha, go ahead.
My Senator Win Gatchalian made this announcement, saying the Committee on Basic Education will conduct the inquiry following the statement of the President on a bill containing provisions on comprehensive sexuality education. Gatchalian said he completely agrees with the Chief Executive's stance, emphasizing the important role of parents in relation to debates on implementing sex education in schools. The lawmakers said they will look into how consistent DepEd CSE is with the mandate of the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Act of 2012. Gatchalian cited Section 14 of the law, saying it calls for age and development appropriate reproductive health education for adolescents. DepEd is currently implementing CSE already, a program that may be separate from what is indicated in the Senate bill yet to be passed. My Senator Mig Zubiri also called on fellow lawmakers to review the bill carefully. He says that they shouldn't be forcing any policies that weaken the morality of the youth. The lawmaker also emphasized that the responsibility of sexuality education should fall on parents, not schools. Mai?
Thank you, Agatha Gregorio, reporting. Meantime, the country's poll body reveals the new ballot faces for the May midterm elections. Hannah T joins us now on the line for this development. Hannah, go ahead.
The Commission on Elections has finalized the generation of 1,667 new ballot face templates following the issuance of 9 temporary restraining orders by the Supreme Court. The latest TRO issued last night involves Mandaue City Mayor Jonas Cortez, whose candidacy was previously canceled by the COMELEC. This comes as the COMELEC rushes to complete the ballot printing process ahead of the May midterm elections. Among the names also included in the updated ballot is senatorial candidate Subair Mustafa, who was initially disqualified by the Commission but was reinstated following a Supreme Court order. Mustafa will now occupy the 47th spot in the senatorial lineup. With prominent businessman and former politician Shavit Singson's recent withdrawal in his senatorial candidacy, no changes were made to the order from Soto onwards. COMELEC spokesperson Attorney John Rex Laudianco explained the adjustments made to the senatorial list following the entry of Mustafa and the withdrawal of Singson. To accommodate these changes, the COMELEC's election management system underwent amendments to include an add and delete feature, eliminating the need for a complete system overhaul should the Supreme Court issue a TRO again. COMELEC staff worked through the night here in their Binyan warehouse, completing the verification of the templates. Mai?
Hannah, so far, are we still on track? And how much has the ballot printing been delayed?
So far, Mai, the COMELEC is still targeting April 14 as the deadline for ballot printing, but we are already 2 weeks behind schedule. Chairman George Garcia says budget concerns are not yet their focus since they're prioritizing the completion of the printing process. So far, the COMELEC stands firm that the May 12 elections will proceed as scheduled. Back to you, Mai.
Thanks for that report, Hannah T. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto is representing President Bongbong Marcos at the high-stakes World Economic Forum in Switzerland. As the president's special envoy, Recto is meeting with top business leaders and investors to position the Philippines as a major destination for foreign capital. The Department of Finance says the focus is on securing investments in high-impact industries that can create jobs, boost wages, and drive long-term economic growth. The Philippines needs to keep strong trade ties with China even as the trade deficit grows. That's according to the Philippine Exporters Confederation, or PhilExport. It points out China remains the biggest source of affordable goods and raw materials, which many local businesses rely on. PhilExport President Sergio Ortiz Luis warns limiting trade with China could increase costs for Filipino businesses and consumers. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows the trade deficit with China grew by nearly 30% from $15 billion in 2023 to $19.5 billion in the first 10 months of 2024. The Philippines ended 2024 with a $609 million balance of payments surplus. That's much lower than the $3.7 billion surplus recorded in 2023. Data from the Bangko Sentral shows the surplus also fell short of the $3.5 billion target set by the central bank. The BSP says this was due to a wider trade deficit, lower earnings from services, and fewer foreign loans taken by the government. In December alone, the BOP posted a $1.51 billion deficit, reversing the $642 million surplus recorded in the same month of 2023, though it improved from the $2.28 billion shortfall in November. The government may borrow more money if the pace of the interest rate cut slows down. PhilStock's Financials Head of Research, Japet Tantiangco, tells Bilyonaryo News Channel this will particularly affect the property sector. The central bank's monetary board has slashed the benchmark borrowing costs by 75 basis points since August, bringing the policy rate to 5.75%.
Of course, that's going to affect in business decision making, especially of those who are interest rates heavy, like the capital intensive ones.
Still to come here on Newsfeed at noon, Thailand's famous Phuket Island facing a garbage crisis. Details after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Newsfeed at noon. Again, the headlines. A historic White House comeback as Donald Trump is sworn in as America's 47th president. First on his agenda, revoking dozens of Biden-era policies. The armed forces of the Philippines tightened security in military bases after an alleged Chinese spy was arrested. Disgraced preacher Apollo Quiboloy rushed to the hospital for pneumonia. And visiting celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay set to open more restaurants here in Manila. A heated hearing at the Senate as lawmakers sharply question whether the establishment of an aquaculture feed mill plant in Capiz will help fishermen. Agatha Gregorio has the details.
Iha, ikaw ang mag-manage together with the local government. Huwag mo ibigay sa SIPDEC kasi magulo yung SIPDEC ang magmamanage. This is for the benefit of the small fishermen, not for SIPDEC. Tigilan mo ako, hindi ako luko-luko. Kasi Region 16 to, baka ganyan na naman ang gawin mo.
Discussions grew heated at the Senate once the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources talked about a feed mill plant funded by the government in Tigbawan, Iloilo. According to BFAR, this was done in collaboration with the Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Center, or SEAFDEC, and so once this is completed in the second quarter of the year, SEAFDEC will temporarily take charge. It wasn't just Senator Cynthia Villar who slammed the idea. Congresswoman Jane Castro, who wrote the bill to establish an aquaculture feed mill plant in Panay, Capiz, also criticized the move.
We cannot suffer from your inefficiency. Nakalagay naman dito, it will be built in Barangay Bahit, province of Panay. We have plenty of raw materials.
Castro adds the feed mill plant will be a big help in decreasing fisheries production costs. According to BFAR, 50 up to 70% of aquaculture production costs come from feeds, and they expect a feed mill capacity of 30 metric tons per day, providing around 30% of the feed requirement of Capiz. But Villar says she heard reports alleging that fishermen do not benefit from the feed mill plant established in Aurora.
Definitely, the fish farmers will benefit from the project. Ngayon lang po talaga mag-full swing ang operation.
Kailan start kayong mag-operate?
Last year, December po, more on initial preparatory operation lang. But okay na po yung na-settle na lahat ng issues sa feed mill.
Villar says the technical working group will revise the bill to make sure the feed mill will be for the benefit of fishermen in Capiz, and BFAR will be behind operations initially before turnover to the local government once the LGU has learned to manage it. Agatha Gregorio, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The head of the United Nations is calling on members of the Security Council to support all efforts to implement the ceasefire deal between Israel and Palestinian militant group Hamas. The truce took effect on Sunday. That same day, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says as many as 630 aid trucks entered the Gaza Strip. The ceasefire comes after more than a year of hostilities that have claimed over 40,000 lives. The U.S. calls on both sides to ensure aid reaches those in need across the territory. Phuket in southern Thailand is known for its vibrant nightlife and white sand beaches, but a crisis is currently bearing down on the island paradise. The details in this report.
The enchanting Thai island of Phuket is facing a waste management crisis, despite its goal to become a sustainable tourism destination by 2026. Known for its white sand beaches and a vibrant nightlife, Phuket is a popular vacation spot. It has seen rapid town development and a surge in tourists after the pandemic, and that generates a huge amount of waste. Every day, around 1,100 tons of waste collected from towns across Phuket are sent to one single landfill. Only 700 tons are incinerated. That's the maximum capacity of the landfill's only incinerator. The rest continues to be steadily dumped. Hundreds of residents nearby, like Vasana Toyu, have been increasingly suffering from the intensifying smell.
There's no life outside the house. We just stay at home. Sometimes you have to wear a mask at home because of the smell. When the smell is very strong, you have to wear a mask and turn on the air conditioner and air purifier all the time. The power bill is very expensive each month, up to $180 per month, because you have to keep everything on all the time.
Toyu said her children are not able to go out and get fresh air because of the smell. Her 3-month-old has never been outside at all, she added. Authorities are scrambling to find solutions for the steadily increasing waste problem. Here is Supachoki Langvet, the deputy mayor of Phuket municipality.
The growth of the city has been much more rapid than it should be. Therefore, it could mean a crisis in terms of waste management within Phuket province itself, which the municipality must accommodate. We speak in terms of a crisis, or in the worst case, that we must prepare an area to accommodate 1,400 to 1,500 tons of garbage per day in the next 2 to 3 years, until the second incinerator is built.
Thai authorities are collaborating with private agencies to reduce waste. Their plan involves transforming the waste into fuel. An NGO has also launched an initiative to help decrease organic waste by £1,100 per day. Despite the efforts underway, an expert believes that more needs to be done. Panate Manomai Vibo is a solid waste management expert and assistant professor at Burafa University.
They need to also focus on waste reduction, waste separation, because if we just keep expanding more waste incinerator, I don't think that would be just the solution, because at the end of the day, you have access, and you would end up using these kind of preset landfill.
But for now, the community living near the landfill has to endure the pollution until the crisis is solved.
The legal battle between Prince Harry and Rupert Murdoch's newspaper group begins. Harry is suing News Group newspapers over alleged unlawful activities carried out by its journalists and private investigators from 1996 to 2011. Harry says he wants to get to the truth after about 40 other claimants, including actor Hugh Grant, settled cases to avoid the risk of a multi-million-pound legal bill. The NGN case is the latest lawsuit in Harry's war with the British press, which began shortly after his marriage to Meghan Markle in 2018. He is set to appear in court next month. Former soccer player and UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador David Beckham, designer and philanthropist Diane von Furstenberg, and Japanese social activist Riken Yamamoto, all honored at the World Economic Forum. The three received the Crystal Award at a ceremony Monday night in Davos. The WEF says this award celebrates extraordinary artists and cultural leaders whose remarkable contributions help transform the world.
I am deeply honored to be recognized for my philanthropic work over the past 2 decades. Although I have to say work really isn't the right word for something which I find so rewarding and inspiring. I'm lucky enough to be a father of 3 boys and 1 beautiful girl. I want my daughter Harper to have the same opportunities as her brothers, and that should be the case for all girls everywhere. Being a girl shouldn't determine what you can do, where you can go, and who you can become. Today's 600 million adolescent girls are the largest generation of future leaders and innovators that the world has ever known. What an exciting prospect if we can unlock their potential and support their development.
Growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew the kind of woman I wanted to become. I wanted to be a woman in charge. I became that woman by creating a simple little dress that embodied confidence. Because it was a dress, I was able to share that confidence with millions of women. 50 years later, that little dress is still a symbol of freedom, and my dedication to inspire and empower keeps on growing.
We're taking another breather. Up next, after more than a decade with Mercedes, Formula One superstar Lewis Hamilton officially begins his new chapter with Ferrari. Keep it here on Newsfeed at noon.
My daughter's back in LA at the moment, and we're, getting these texts saying, "What do I pack? Have you got anything that is really precious that you want me to pack?" And I'm like, "You and the dogs. That's it. Anything,
We're all affected, and that our friends and our friends' animals and our friends' homes, and it's just a horrible time.
Measures have to be taken in the future to avoid this sort of thing. My heart goes out to everyone being affected. I'm in West Hollywood, so I'm a distance away from Palisades, but tragic.
Lifestyle, beauty, food. We got you.
If you want a gift that gives back, memories that is, this one is on my wish list too.
Join Marie Lozano where she uncovers the untold stories and surprises in the world of lifestyle.
I had already accepted my excess baggage fate. It's time to show me what you're really about.
The Lifestyle Lab on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Ciao, mabuhay. You are watching The Word Exposed.
Prepare our hearts as we dive deeper into our faith and receive the strength from God's Word. Join Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as he shares the reflection we need for the rest of the week.
We pray that the Word of God would find fulfillment in your life and His blessings be always upon you.
Every Sunday, 7 a.m. with replays at 3 p.m. First, updated, on top of everything, and focused on the things that matter most. This is who you want to be. So scan your digital boxes now and search for Bilyonaryo News Channel. Always on top.
You're back on Newsfeed at noon. Formula One superstar Lewis Hamilton begins a new chapter with Ferrari. For his first official day with the team, the 7-time F1 World Champion. And before we go, celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay gets the rock star treatment as he visits Manila for the first time. Marie Lozano has this story.
4 contestants, 1 secret ingredient each, and a 10-minute countdown. This is what multi-Michelin-starred chef Gordon Ramsay brought along to his first ever visit to the Philippines. A taste of what it's like to be in one of his reality cooking shows. In an interactive segment held at the Newport Performing Arts Theater, he challenged 4 contestants to a cook-off to put a spin on a classic Filipino dessert, halo-halo. In the end, culinary student Danica Lucero impressed Chef Gordon with her use of kamyas compote. Chef Gordon called Filipino food the sleeping beauty of Asia.
I said it before, Filipino cuisine for me is like the sleeping beauty of Asia. And to be part of that, and to share it with the team, honestly, it's a dream. It really is a dream.
He also shared that some of his favorite dishes are sisig tacos and bone marrow, both of which he tasted in a Filipino restaurant in Australia.
That's where Filipino cuisine should be. Absolutely bang on. It was delicious.
Filipino talent also took center stage. Chef Gordon recently challenged the food content creator Abby Marquez, or the Lumpia Queen, to make a lumpia version of his famous dish, the beef Wellington.
There's the future, likewise, with a young, sort of no fear, I'm going to do this for Gordon in a spring roll with a traditional wrapper, and it was exquisite.
glass of wine with my lumpia.
Chef Gordon says he sees so much potential in young Filipino chefs, especially those working in his Manila kitchen. One of Chef Gordon's secret ingredients to success is his desire to constantly learn more about the culture and traditions of every place he builds a restaurant in. He loves the Philippines so much, in fact, he announced 3 more restaurants in the making. Marie Lozano, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
And those in the news this hour, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Good afternoon.